Hello, so in this video I wanted to show you the top 3 ways to see how well an item is selling on Amazon using BuyBotPro. This is such an important factor because even if you analyze something and it comes up with a good profit and it looks amazing and you check out the sales and it's hardly selling anything, it's going to be a long while before you see that amazing profit. And to be honest, by that time when you actually sell it, if you do, depending on how well it sells, that may have changed by that point in time. The profit may have gotten worse. It might not even be worth it at that point. So it's quite important to take this into consideration. And the first way that I'm going to show you is through the estimated sales calculator. So on the left here, you have the previous 90-day average sales for the item. In the middle, you've got the current sales for the item based on the last 30 days. Hovering over this gives you a breakdown table of the monthly sales for the item over the last 12 months. And using these numbers here, combined with several inbuilt algorithms and data from sources that we purchase for you, from places like Keeper, for example, we are then able to estimate the average sales for the item over the next 90 days. So with BuyBotPro as well, this number is slightly underestimated. We think that's a lot more truthful, as there's lots of other deal analyzers out there that will heavily overestimate this number, give you something that's unrealistic. You'll go ahead and buy X amount, thinking it's going to sell really well, and then if anything, you'll find that you are stuck with stock, which is not what you want. You'd probably rather want to sell out of it and have to buy more in than end up stuck with it and end up not being able to shift that stock. So that's why an underestimated figure is slightly better. But with this, if the numbers are quite good and you can see that, it sold really well in the past, it's currently selling pretty well, and then it's also predicted to sell even better than it has been doing before, then that is a very good sign. And also, if you hover over the monthly sales chart here, you can see if it does consistently sell well throughout the year. So you can see those numbers there for the most part do stay fairly consistent. So this item does sell consistently well. If you head over to the main sales chart here, this is another way that you can kind of gauge how well an item is selling. And one of the ways that you do that is by looking at the BSR line. So if we toggle all of these off to make it a bit clearer. So the BSR, that's the green line here, that's bestseller rank, which is a number that Amazon assigns to an item, which tells you how well an item has been selling / how popular it is. So what you want from this line here is for it to look a little something like this. So you want it to be as close to the bottom of the chart as possible. As with BSR, the lower the number, the better. So the closer to 1 you are, 1 being the best, the better. So if it does stay consistently close to the bottom, mind you could get some brief periods like this where it does shoot up, that's fine, as long as for the most part it does stay close to the bottom. And you also want it to have a lot of movement like this. So for every piece of movement on this line, even if it's the steepest spike or the littlest squiggle, any little bit of movement means there's been at least 1 sale for the item. It could be more than 1, but it means there's been at least 1. So loads of movement equals lots of sales. Where it is a bit more spaced out like it is doing here, that means it would have slowed down around that period. But again, what you're looking for is lots of movement and a good BSR. The third and final way I'm going to tell you about to see this information is by using the sales heat map here. So how this works is like the temperature on a weather forecast. So the redder this bar is, the better. Okay, so where you have got red, that means the item has been selling really well, it's been really popular. Where you've got something like this where it's a bit of a darker shade of red, that means there has been a period of really intense sales within a short space of time. So loads and loads and loads of sales. Where you have a period like this, as I was saying earlier, where you've got it slightly spaced out there, and you've got a bit more of an orangey colour in the sales heat map, that means the item has been selling okay, not as good as it has been doing before. And where you have a period of white, that means there was either no sales for the item or hardly any at all. So again, with this, you are looking for as much red as you can possibly get. This is set on the last 90 days, so you can change the day range. If we put it on 365, so in the course of a year, we can also look back at the BSR line here, as that does line up with the sales heat map. Also, we can see that for the